Hi everyone, welcome back to This Book Belongs to Pam. It is officially the end of June, which means we are halfway through with the year, which is such a scary thing to say because how is it already halfway through the year? I wanted to do this little tag that I've been seeing around since like many years ago. I thought it was a great way to update you on what I've been reading, what I've been enjoying, since I didn't do any of my usual monthly wrap-ups this year. I'm just trying it out, not doing wrap-ups, and I think I miss it. So I don't know, we'll see. Very simple, not a lot of fuss. Let's just get right into it. I'm gonna link the original tag creators below in the description box, but I'm also using Gavin Reads It All's revision, additional questions that he recently posted in a video. So I'll link that below as well. So if you wanted to do the tag or if you just wanted to answer it in the comments below, everything will be in the description box. I have a trusty little guide here for the questions, and let's get started. So the first question is, how has your reading year gone so far? It has been a little bit of a slower year for me in terms of reading, slower compared to how I've been reading last year. But I feel like I have been reading well. I am liking a good amount of books that I've been reading. I'm reading a lot more Filipino books, which is my goal for this year. But I've also not made any big progress on the reading challenges that I set for myself. So that's going to be my big focus for the latter half of the year. How many books have I read? According to my story graph, I have read a total of 36 books this year. What is the best book you've read so far in 2025? I've read quite a bit of good books that I've made my favorites, but the ones that I want to share with you, and I'm cheating a bit because it did say best book, but I did want to just, give you 3 books. The first one, which is the first book that I've read for the entire year, is Sikihor by Yvette Tan. I just really like the variety of stories in here, the eerie atmosphere, and maybe because I read it in Sikihor Island, which is, the pun with the name Sikihor, maybe that added a little bit to my enjoyment in the story, and maybe it has some fond memories with it now. I really recommend it if you want just a good collection of horror short stories. Yvette Tan is your girl. I also enjoyed Insect Hag, which is her latest release, but I think Sikihor is my favorite so far. I've only read this 2 from her. Also, I have The Puppy War. I cannot not mention The Puppy War. I read this for my series Read Along Sprints. So I've read the entire series already, so this is kind of standing in for the entire series, but you'll see the other books in a different question. Really enjoyed this one. The characters in this book are so infuriating in a good and bad way. You are gonna be invested in every single person in this book, which is something that makes the book really good for me because I want to know what happens to them. I want to know where their story leads to. And that just, to me, is a recipe for a good book. R.F. Pong's writing. While this writing is not my favorite, I think she has definitely improved over time because I did read her other works first. I still think this is a really strong debut from her. The fact that it is woven with real history, real political problems that we are still facing today, I think this makes it a really current read despite being published years ago. So yeah, really enjoyed The Puppy War. But also, the last book that I want to mention for this question of top 3 books, I guess, is Accidents Happen by F.H. Batacan. This is also a collection of short stories. This is featuring crime fiction. So F.H. Batacan is a Filipino writer who wrote Smaller and Smaller Circles, which is kind of known as the first crime fiction novel in the Philippines. So yeah, it's a big deal. I also met the author in an author signing. She did a workshop at one of the bookstores here, and so she signed my book, which I'm really happy about. Trying to show you. So yeah, she signed my book. It still has a post-it from there. But I really enjoyed this one. I found that the way that F.H. Batacan writes in this one is a little bit different from Smaller and Smaller Circles. That one is a bit more grungy, somber, very much noir type of writing. But this one is a bit more explorative. This has 11 short stories, and she really pushed the boundaries with what is crime fiction. There is even a story here that you could argue is like crime fiction but also magical realism, because you are in the point of view of a knife, which is pretty cool. My favorite stories would have to be The One Cry, Number One Pencil, and maybe Door 59. I actually also really like that. It's really hard to choose because every single story is quite unique on its own. There's a different thing that you're tackling, and F.H. Patakan talked about this in her workshop, but that in crime fiction, it's important to have the primary crime, which is, you know, the thing that you read at the back, the synopsis, essentially. But then it's also important to have the crime behind the crime. Like, what are the criminal things that are happening in the world as a whole to humanity that sort of causes the primary crime. So things like systemic injustice, racism, stuff like that, that gives the primary crime the vehicle to exist. I really love looking at it from that perspective, and I think I'm gonna continue to think of that whenever I read any kind of like crime fiction. But yeah, that is Accidents Happen by F.H. Batakan. Gave this 5 stars. The next question is, what is the best book you've reread so far in 2025? I have not reread any books so far. What is the best manga / graphic novel / comics that you've read so far in 2025? I actually have an answer for you, and that is Maharlika. This is Filipino comics, and it is written and illustrated by Filipino writers and artists, and I really love it. So this is set in like 100 years after the Philippines won the Spanish Revolution. So it's kind of like a alternate reality type of book set in the future, and the Philippines now is part of this nation called Maharlika, who is this superpower in the world. What are the things that could have changed? Is there going to be anything different with the way our government is run? Spoilers, there's still corruption and there's still people that are struggling. But so far, they've only had 2 volumes, which is 10 issues. I'm actually going to be going to the launch of the 11th issue later, like in a couple of hours. Super excited. The art is like really nice. There's this guy that we are sort of like that we like, but he is the bad guy. Look at that. Look at that. Anyway, but yeah, that is Maharlika. Really enjoyed it. If you get a chance to read it, this is written in English as well. So if you get a chance to read it, highly recommend it. This is written by Rexy Dorado and illustrated by John Ray. Yeah. So what is the best sequel you've read so far in 2025? And hands down, that would have to be Dragon Republic and The Burning God. These are the sequels to the Poppy War, which I mentioned earlier. And yeah, I think this just really tied up the series in a very satisfying way without it being too cheesy. It fit. The way it ended fits. And that is always something that I look forward to in a series. I don't want the author to give like fan service and tie it up in a way that sort of caters to like sort of our wishful thinking. But I want the author to really think about the characters, the story, the themes, and everything that has been set up, the foundations of the book, and then tie it up in a way that honors those. So I think it was really done well in the Poppy War. I'm not sure what my favorite book out of the trilogy is. It's definitely not the Poppy War. It might be the Dragon Republic, but actually I can't decide between the two. I really like the sequels. If the sequels were done well, I wouldn't like the Poppy War as much. What is a new release that you haven't read but want to? I have 2 books for you. Sunrise on the Reaping by Zane Collins. I've been frothing at the mouth ever since I got this book, and I've been wanting to read it, but it just didn't fit. I wanted to like be in a relaxed state of mind before I started it, but things have been so go since I got this book. But I'm finally reading it in July because I'm joining Katie Colson's readathon, Sunrise on the Readathon, and obviously, like, it's a Hunger Games inspired readathon. Better read Sunrise on the Reaping during that month. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading this in July. I'm very excited to get my heart broken. Very excited for St. Collins to once again rip my heart out of my chest like Killua from Hunter x Hunter. But yeah, Sunrise on the Reaping, and then the other one is Bare Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This is a thick one. I just recently got it. This is luckily one of the first signed editions. So it is signed by V.E. Schwab. I am scared because I love V. Schwab's writing so much, and I don't know what people think of this book yet. I have tried my best to avoid any kind of like spoilers, but it is a thick one, and I really want to read it when I'm in the mood for reading, when I'm really loving reading. And I also want to film this because I want to document my thoughts on this book. So yeah, bury my bones. Maybe I read it next month as well. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know yet. The next question is, what is your most anticipated book for the second half of the year? I have 2 books. The trend here is me not picking one book, but just giving you multiples, but whatever. So 2 books. One is We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad. I love Bunny by Mona Awad. It is one of my favorite books, and I definitely need to reread that before I read We Love You Bunny. I think We Love You Bunny is a prequel. I haven't really looked too deep into it. I just knew that when I saw the announcement, I instantly pre-ordered it because I really like Mona Awad's writing. Her writing is very difficult in a way where it's like she has a bunch of tangents that she goes through, but there's usually like a thread among those tangents that kind of ties everything together, but it's really hard to follow. But I enjoy it so much. I don't know, I just really like her writing. It just really jives well with something in my brain. So yeah, I'm excited about We Love You Bunny. The next one is Catabasis by RF Quam, which I am so afraid about because I have definitely heard a lot of mixed reviews on Catabasis. But I just want to judge for myself. I mean, maybe I'm gonna enjoy it because I like the way she wrote Babel, but a lot of people don't like that. But I loved it so much, so maybe that's the same case here, where people just don't like Catabasis, but I'm one of those that 100% do. And that is my hope because I actually got the Broken Binding special edition. I just could not help myself because the theme is so nice, the cover was so nice. I'm so excited to get that. I think I'm gonna get that in August, or maybe no, September probably. But yeah, that's Catabasis by RF Quam. What is the worst book you've read so far in 2025? And I hope people don't hate me for this. But I really hated Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. I read that in the first 3 months of the year, and I was really struggling to finish it. I really didn't like it. It was so rushed for me. I felt like it was just released because, you know, there's hype around what's it called? Fourth Wing, and they want to capitalize on that. It really felt like a cash grab for me. I feel like they just like smushed together a bunch of ideas, a bunch of plot points, and called it a story. And I just really hated it. I did not like it at all. It really made me question if I want to even continue reading the series, the Empyrean. Is that what it's called? I think so, the Fourth Wing series. Just because I really didn't like it. Like, I loved Fourth Wing. I had the time of my life reading Fourth Wing, but Onyx Storm was just like not it for me. But yeah, hopefully you don't hate me. Love you guys. Okay, next question is, what is your biggest disappointment of the year so far? So with this question, my assumption is that my expectations were this, but when I read it, I felt this. So for me, that is The Ministry of Time by, who is the author? Kayleigh Bradley. I was really disappointed because I enjoyed the premise of this book so much. Like, I enjoyed the setup, I enjoyed the beginning, but I felt like it just went down this like spiral that it could not recover from. It was so cheesy by the end. It felt like a cop-out ending, and I just really didn't like it. I think I have a vlog talking about that because I did like a readathon. I think so. If I do, I'll link that below. But yeah, really did not enjoy that. That is my disappointment of the year. I actually haven't read too many books that I'm disappointed by, so that's a pretty good thing. The next one is, what is the biggest surprise of the year so far? So I wasn't sure if this was talking about books. I think it is. The biggest surprise for me really is the fact that I'm enjoying short stories a lot. I've been reading quite a bit this year because a lot of the Filipino releases that I've read for book tours and for other things have been short story collections. Like earlier, I mentioned Sikyehor, Insect Hag, Accidents Happen. Those are all short story collections. And then I've also read The Greatest Fight of Sonny Granada by Kenneth Yu. That's also a short story collection that I enjoyed. I don't know, I'm just really enjoying this format where an author just has this concept, this idea, and they try to really hook you in, but also at the same time give you a satisfying ending. It's really difficult. I feel like it's such an art to write a short story, and I really enjoyed it a lot this year. So yeah, that's the biggest surprise. I don't have like a specific book that I was so surprised by, but that's just the fact that I'm enjoying short stories is really surprising. Okay, next question is, who is your favorite new to me author? I have really enjoyed Ange Miranda's writing. Ange is a Filipino author as well. She writes romance in this interconnected series called The Reyes Siblings. So this is the first book in that series. I have second book somewhere behind me, and the third book is actually gonna get released on August 12th, if I'm not mistaken, mid-August. But yeah, I have really enjoyed her writing. It feels like a warm hug. For this book, it's featuring Tala, who is this Filipino who went to the States, you know, the usual story, in search of a good life. She's struggling with loneliness, she's struggling from being away from family, and with the responsibility of being like a breadwinner for herself and her sister and her family back in the Philippines. Very Filipino in that way, like a lot of Filipinos are in this predicament, but at the same time, it is romance. So there is this like really cozy feeling about it, and I really enjoy the characters. But yeah, that is The Off Chance of Me and You by Ange Miranda. I can't wait to read the next book, which I probably am going to be reading soon because I want to read it before the new book gets out. But yeah, that is my favorite new to me author so far, Ange Miranda. What book has made you cry so far this year? I actually don't remember if I cried in a book. I think I teared up a couple of times. I don't remember like crying the way I did with like Happy Place by Emily Henry or Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't know. I just don't remember. Do I have emotions? I don't know. Next question is, what is the most beautiful book you've bought this year? So I'm only going to consider books that I have bought and have already received, because I mentioned I did get the special edition Catabasis and also one more book. But let's see. Okay. For special editions from like book boxes, the best one that I've received, which is not saying a lot because I didn't get too many books this year, Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yambao. So this is also by a Filipino author. It is, I would say, like magical realism, sort of like very whimsical fantasy, loosey-goosey with like magic systems and whatnot. But it's just so beautiful. Like, look at that. This is the back. I love that moon. And then you have this. I love this so much. Hold on. I love it when they print art on the naked cover and it just wraps around the whole thing. Like, that is so beautiful. So yeah, this is definitely one of the prettiest books I've ever received this year. But I do want to talk about two other books, or actually 5 other books. One is a classic that I just got recently. I just was, browsing through Full Book as one does, and I saw this I saw this edition of East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I've been wanting to read this for a long time, but for some reason I just never do. Classic. Such a pretty cover. It's kind of a little bit blown out in the video, but I really love that it has this deckled edges, which I like. I think a lot of people don't, but I actually like it. But yeah, East of Eden, also important to me. It's like I like the font inside, and it's a very thick book actually. So yeah, this is one of my beautiful books. And then the other one, could you actually see it? Yeah, you can see it. It's in here. I don't want to take it out. Maybe I'll take out just one because it's so fucking heavy. Like, if this hits me on the head, I would be concussed. Maybe I'd pass away, but let me just grab one. So this is the illustrated versions, or like editions, of J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings trilogy plus The Hobbit. And it is the illustrated version with Alan Lee as the illustrator, and I just really love it. I feel like it fits in the cozy look of the Shire. Although I know that the rest of the books aren't that cozy, but it just has that like epic fantasy journey quality to it that I really enjoy. Like, look at that. I love that so much. Like, I I haven't read Lord of the Rings, actually. I have watched the film in pieces. Like, I don't think I've ever watched it straight from start to finish. I don't know why. Like, I was just not into it when I was younger, but I have since really been enjoying everything that I'm seeing. Lord of the Rings, there's like illustrations inside. And yeah, I can't wait to like read this. I want to read the entire series, like binge read it, because I just want to be stuck into the world of J.R.R. Tolkien. So yeah, this is a really beautiful book, and it is a precious belonging of mine. But I'm not going to show you the entire thing because it is heavy. I can't even. Okay, I'm going to put that back later. Okay, the next question is, what are the books you need to read by the end of the year? A lot! I made this video of the books I need to read in 2025, which basically is my 12 Friends, 12 Recs challenge and my 25 books in 2025. And I have not like checked whether or not I'm like progressing well, but I know that I'm not. I know that I'm not, but I'm focusing on those books for the latter half of the year. So yeah, there's a lot. I'm just gonna leave a link to that video in the description box below. What is your favorite video that you've made so far this year? I haven't made too many videos this year. It's been a very slow year in terms of like reading and YouTube. But the favorite videos I've made are the Philippine Book Festival vlog that I did. That is the most recent video that I made. I just like it because it was such a good experience and I had a lot of fun with my friends. And yeah, I just really enjoyed that. Okay, which video did you think would flop but did well? I actually think all of my videos would flop. I don't know. I do think that the best and worst books would flop because it's been a while. Like, I posted that quite late. It was quite a long video. I had some audio problems in the like statistics part of it, but I have seen people enjoy it. People have commented on it. It got like decent amount of views for my channel. So yeah, it didn't flop. But I thought it would. The next one is, any upcoming videos you're excited to make? I don't have, like, I do have specific videos, but I don't want to mention it yet. Essentially, I just want to make more vlogs. I just want to get back into the reading vlog game, like just me reading at home, not like anything special, just me reading at home, telling you about the books that I'm reading and what are my thoughts on them. I just want to get back to that. The last question is, any channel goals by the end of the year? I would love to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm currently at somewhere around 965, 66, I think. And then I also want to get 3,000 watch hours. I'm very close. I was so close before I took the hiatus. I was at like 2,999, which is so annoying. So unsatisfying. I'm currently around like 2,830 something. I definitely need to get back into the reading sprints game. Yeah, it would be nice to have 3,000 watch hours by the end of the year. I think it's doable. It's kind of scary, but I think it is. But yeah. So that is the mid-year freakout tag. I really enjoyed answering these questions. I enjoyed talking to you about books again. And if you are answering these questions, if you're doing your own video, let me know in the comments. I would love to watch them. If you are just answering it on your Instagram, or maybe just in the comments below, I will leave the questions in the comments below. Post your answers and I would love to read them. I'm just nosy. I'm just very curious about how people's reading have been going so far this year. That is it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, listening to me yap about books and things. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye!